We got another solve analysis this week. We got x3chainz 5x5 241 average of 5, usually about under sub 240, so not quite his best average, but pretty indicative of what he's got. Next, his best thing is centers. Worst part is edges. Look ahead. You've been queuing for 10 months. Big Q's 5 months, so pretty short. 240 is pretty solid for 10 months in. 7 to 14 hours a week, so pretty serious, but not like crazy. Looking for general tips. Right. Mountain Dew #1 in the special notes. All right. So here we go. Let's see what we got to start. We got a nice start. We got orange is probably best. Orange or red for sure. It's a good angle, even though the video is a little grainy, but we can see everything, so that's all that really matters. All right, ready to start. This I know you're like newer, but this right here, just like things to work on. Like, really should just immediately see it. Like, just kind of like be able to recognize this immediately, as opposed to like having that delay. Kind of a mistake there. It's a good thing to start thinking about. Just like remember where the pieces are that you've already built. Big thing. Just remember where they are. Well, never too early to start thinking about that. Just a little bit. Not like you don't have to memorize it every time, but just a good thing to think about. All right. Building centers on back. Alright, nice. Last two edge chase. Also seems a lot of lefty. I wonder if he's left-handed. If you're not left-handed, definitely, you might want to, seems a little awkward to kind of how things are going down. I want to do a little more righty stuff. Whoa. So right here, this is pretty important. So right here, you've now started holding the cube with your left hand, and right here you're gonna do this flipping alg. Boom, right there. You see, you did this entire cube rotation during this flipping alg. You gotta do the flipping alg with your right hand. So, boom, thumb. Make sure you do it with the thumb. Doesn't matter if you do it inverse or front ways. Just you gotta make sure you do it with your thumb. No rotations. Your left thumb should never leave this middle sticker or this middle piece. Also, stuff like that, inserts like that are pretty awkward in general. Something I wouldn't recommend doing, like you're inserting this on right, like with this awkward, like you're re-gripping with your left hand. Oh, oops. So like right here, you're inserting this edge right here on the right side, and you're re-gripping with your left hand to do that, and like, I just recommend doing a cube rotation and doing a back insert, or doing a cube rotation and doing an insert on the left to be much faster, less awkward. Just in general, you want to be holding, like, you're using your left hand a lot to do F and F prime, which is concerning. It's certainly, like, not going to hold up. Like, it might be okay, but it's definitely not the ideal way you want to be doing things. Yeah, flipping out is definitely going to kill you. Yeah. Alright, I like that. I like that. Not just doing slice up slice, doing also working in some MU2 M primes. Very good, very good. Got a pretty lucky case right here. Okay, so you're doing the same alg I think I am, but like you're starting out weird. You're starting at like this and then D2. Start it like this and then B2. You definitely want to do it like this. Start with B2 and then you want to end with B2. Or however you're doing it, it might not be the same alg. Whatever alg you're doing though, you want to definitely do that B2 instead of a D2. It's kind of an awkward finger trick. You definitely do not want to do D2. It's going to kill you in the long run. I would definitely not recommend doing M slices to form a cross in general, unless you're like a roux solver, or just like, this isn't roux, is it? Or is it roux? Can't tell. What's going on? Oh, he is a root solver. Okay, well, I don't have too much. I'm not gonna have the greatest insight. I don't have too much to say about root solving on big cubes. Oh shoot. I don't have too much to say about root. He just started doing root, so I don't have too much to say about root solving on big cubes. He seems pretty good with his finger tricks, actually. The M slices are very impressive in terms of ability to execute them without messing up on a 5x5. So I'm impressed with that, but yes, there you go. One second, let's go back. What do we got? What do we got? Just in general, so it looks like in the last two solves you planned out the first 2x2. I know you're like, I think that you could definitely start thinking about, try and maybe do a 2x3 blindfolded. Like, not every time, all for the easy cases, but you're clearly just going for 2x2, and I think you can start thinking about doing a little bit more. Definitely a good time to be thinking about that, I think. Alright, so this is a good trick that you should know. This is a pretty basic, like, so. In this case right here, you got this this kind of L thing right here. If you have just a blank centerpiece, like you got this one right here, you can do it R wide, U prime, R wide, or just R, U, R, some of that combo to make a 2x2. You don't have to make the 2x2, the 2x1, and then make another 2x1. I do like the fact that you did end up putting you did make a 2x2 with another 2x1, but you pulled this corner out. That's good. You're pulling corners out. I like that. But you didn't even need to do that in the first place is the thing. I like that. Correctly using that kind of trick right there. Okay, so some of this stuff might be a little more advanced than I really should be recommending. I'm not 100% sure. I think some of this stuff is like definitely like things to start learning right now though. In this case right here, you got this white piece right underneath your thumb, and you got these two white pieces right here. Put the white piece right here, R wide, U2, R wide prime. Make the whole bar for you. It'd be a lot simpler than doing that, which is a lot of moves. I think that's something that you could definitely start picking up on now. Okay, another thing, just in general, what I'm kind of noticing is that it seems that you're not using what's already on top of the cube unless it's exactly what you want. Like, let's just look for example. So, say we're making our second bar, and this is the first example, like this. You see that the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a 2x1. So we may have this 2x1 success. Now we're going to make another 2x1. We do not care about this corner is what you're thinking. And you just want to start thinking about, oh, I can use this corner. Sometimes you're not going to be able to use what's on top, but sometimes you will. You can use this corner to do like that. Or for another example, you had something like this. Okay, so we have a 2x1. We need to make a bar. And we don't have a bar yet, so we're just going to find another middle piece, and we're going to use that middle piece to make a bar. But the thing is, you already can use what's on top to make a bar like that. So just always be aware of all the pieces, not just the ones that you aren't on the face you're trying to solve. That's kind of like the big overarching tip there. It's something like really, really good idea to think about. I like that. Save that bar. Whoa. Okay, this just seems like a mistake. This is just a mistake, so no biggie. That happens. Oops. Tactical overlay pause. Didn't miss much. The same thing with the F like right, like the lefty right hand. It's like I'm just gonna make a note. It's like right. Okay, let's wait for a better spot. Right here, like, one sec. It's like right here. This is how you're holding the cube. This is like kind of awkward. This is kind of how like new age 3x3 solvers hold the cube, like holding it like this with both hands, so you're free to do like this and all sorts of like wonky crap. But like, I don't think it's the best idea for big cubes on 5x5, 6 and 7 especially. I don't think it's the greatest idea because it's honestly like you want to be holding it with your left hand. If you're left-handed, right, if you're right-handed, hold it here and do moves like this. You want to be, a lot of the cube you can be doing is rotations and right-handed moves and some F with your right hand. Like, I think it's just, it seems maybe like you've learned on 3x3, but like I don't think it's the best idea. All right. It's like right there. This is like a specific example. He inserted this edge right here, but he should, like, you could easily do a rotation, move this edge to here, and then insert it on right, much more finger friendly. It seems like you're trying to avoid rotations a little too much. Rotations aren't necessarily that bad. You don't want to do them unless you have to, but to save awkward stuff like doing a left-handed F primes is like definitely a good idea. There's a lot of this going on. Definitely something you definitely want to revamp your, definitely revamp kind of your turning style for a lot of these moves. Alright, slice up slice. Nothing wrong. At this stage, definitely slice up slice is your friend. Definitely what you want to be doing. Although in this specific case, I think there's a... yeah, I definitely recommend slice up slice. In this specific case, you got to this case, it's a terrible case. There's nothing, all three edges, or there's no two pieces. In this case, do an MU to M prime. It'll pretty much give you a better case. But you've already used MU to M prime, so I know you know it is. Just do an MU to M prime. It'll give you a better case and it'll be faster in slice up slice. But some slice flips. Oh, then another MU to M prime. Oh, okay, that worked out. So okay, that was good. That was good. Nothing wrong with that. Then some Rue. The M slices are pretty consistent. I'm impressed. Very impressed with these M slices. Oh, very quick, very quick. Alright, alright, alright. Let's see what we got next. We got a red bar on the right. Boom. 2 bars right there. That's what I like to see. Quick first center. Alright, we like that. I think we probably have already hit on most of the big things here. You could have saved that, but I don't think there's anything wrong with not saving it. I do like this. So you build the full orange bar, and then you didn't need it quite yet, so you saved it around. Nothing wrong with that. I like that a lot. Good stuff. I like this. This is just another case of not using what's already on the edge. Like right here. This 2x1 will match with this 2x2 to make a 2x3. Use what's already on the solved center, the center you're solving, to finish up the center. Important, as opposed to like pulling it out, make another 2x1, then kind of doing this awkward thing with a jig right there. That's kind of like the big thing there. Kind of already touched on that though. Kind of, oh, he's doing it on top. Okay, okay, okay. Alright, alright, alright. Nothing wrong there. Okay, so in this case, it's fine. Like, using your left hand, I still think back insert's probably a little better. Like, but I do this all the time myself, so I'm not really one to judge. But like, in this case, he's inserting this red and green, or he's inserting this red and green here. He does a lefty, and there's no F move, so I think lefty with no F moves is fine. It's much more safe. I think back insert's a little better, but he does it again right there. Boom, lefty. Nothing wrong with that. But the lefty F prime is not good. Definitely be using your thumb for that. Really important. Just it essentially just amounts to a regrip every time you do an F prime, and that's way too many regrips. Alright, kind of a lot more of the same here. MU2M prime right there. Good, good, good. Another MU2M prime. So in general, okay, so another tip. So when you're doing the flipping alg, this cube sucks. If you're trying to flip this edge right here, if you're doing the regular flipping alg like this, and the thing is right now you're rotating, you have it like this and you're rotating. You can do a U prime and then do the flipping alg but without the R at the end. This is the same thing. So U prime, flipping alg without the R, same thing. That will save you a rotation. Definitely a good idea there. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're gonna skip through editing stages because I don't know anything about Rue. Here we go. Solve a through 4. This is x3chainz. Okay, I missed the start of that one. Bad. So we got red. Red's got a full bar. Looks pretty easy. Oops. Red's got a full bar. Looks pretty easy. Planned out 2 bars. I like that. Like I mentioned earlier, definitely something you want to start trying to do a little more. Made a full bar there. Nice. There we go. More bars. I really think there's nothing too, like, I don't think there's really anything too wrong with the center building. Just the biggest thing is you're not using the pieces that are already in the solve center, along with just being unfamiliar with a lot of the cases, not really knowing exactly what's going to happen is kind of the big thing. But that's just something that you have to just, like, regular solves will just kind of iron out. What the? So right here, okay, this is weird. So I don't know exactly what you do right here, but you essentially have, this is your last 2 center case. Here's what you're gonna do. Boom. Do that every time. Done. Switched back. Nailed it. Yeah, this is kind of strange. And definitely less finger friendly. Okay, still not bad. More the same. I do like the fact that he's not doing any like awkward cube rotations just to look for pieces. He is doing straight up Y2s or Z2s, or whatever one it is, to find pieces. Like the method of finding pieces I think is good. It's just the execution on some of the inserts with the lefty F primes is kind of awkward. Also, I'm not sure if he's putting 4. Oh, I actually didn't notice. I don't think he's putting 4. Yeah, so you're not putting 4 edges on one side. I would definitely highly recommend to start switching to put all 4 edges. When you saw the first 4 edges, put them all on one face. That way, it'll make it a lot easier on the next one. For 5x5, I recommend you do this until you're about 110. So, definitely for a very long time. It's very helpful. Makes recognition a lot easier. Something I really, really recommend. Yeah, so you're doing pure slice-up slice with MU2M prime is very good. I like that. Make sure when you're on the E layer, you know your new flipping algorithm when you don't have to rotate. There's nothing wrong with slice-up slice with MU2M prime. That's a great way to start. Definitely something. I definitely don't think you need to change any of that. You look pretty efficient. Just if you have a bad case, don't do a slice-up slice. Do an MU2M prime to get a better case. That would be much faster. All right, so we got the last solve. Orange is probably the go-to right here. Let's see that orange, right? Boom, boom, boom. There it is. 2 bars planned there. I like that. I might recommend, that one was probably pretty easy for you to plan 2 bars. Just in general, always kind of stretch it a little bit. Just kind of push the envelope of what you think is doable. Like, what's the worst that happens? You just don't know where the 3rd bar is. Or I guess you might mess up the current ones, but you're practicing. Just kind of push a little bit on what you think is doable when you're inspecting. Always a good idea to like kind of just see what's up. Kind of a mistake there, but that's something that's you'll figure out. Some of these building blocks for centers are strange, though. I think it's, oh yeah, right, that's on the top side. That one worked out oddly okay. All right, good. Finding. I do enjoy the fact that he's not doing extra moves. He's not making moves unless he knows where a pair is. He's not wasting moves. Definitely waiting, seeing what he's got, and doing the pairs. That's good. I like that a lot. Very smart. Definitely good things to keep. Definitely don't be changing that. Like right here, this is good. He's big pause, which is unfortunate, but 0 moves were done. Only do moves when they're smart. I like that. Very good habit to have for later in your cubing career. So I haven't seen you do that yet, but I've mentioned this on other people's videos. It seems to be popular. Like this, like really risky. Like for you, you don't seem to be too comfortable with it. That move right there, it's like it requires a regrip to move your thumb up here, and then kind of awkward. I'd really recommend just doing UI2, UI3-2, just because it doesn't seem like you're too into it yet. Definitely easy to switch at this point. So this is just a mistake of not knowing when you were done with edges. You had 8 already done. It's kind of that's probably not too common. That's like something that you'll just iron out as you get more comfortable cubing. Yeah, that was a weird like. Yeah, those D moves. I already mentioned that, but the D moves gotta go. All right, so that was the whole average, pretty much. So I like a lot of what x3chainz is doing. The biggest things that he's good at, not doing dumb moves, not wasting moves during your edges. Slice up slice and MU2 M prime are good for the last 4 edges. Pretty smooth stuff. The biggest things are centers, or the fact that the biggest thing in centers is you're not using what's already on the solved center. You're building everything off of the center and then putting it on the center you're trying to solve. You can use the center you're trying to solve. It might be a little trickier, but definitely something you need to start working on now. For edges, a couple of the finger trick things were like on centers. On centers, not the finger trick. Just in general, how you're holding the cube. You definitely, in general, for 5x5, want to be holding it with your hand and then turning with your right hand. I definitely would not recommend doing the whole like kind of new 3x3 style thing of like this type of stuff. Definitely hold with the left, turn with your right. For edges, the weird also like this will go along with that, but you're doing a lot of that F turns instead of you're doing your F turns like this, which is essentially just a cube rotation, and then like this right here. Just another cube rotation. Just get used to doing this right here. Just boom, 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 boom. Just use your right hand for everything. Oops, what am I doing? And then yeah, and obviously, and then some of the center stuff is like a little strange on what's going on. Just gotta be thinking about how you're building your centers. Try to be like thinking a little more about the most efficient way to do things. I know it's like a lot to think about, but you could just like kind of study it a little bit, kind of break it down like that. So that's the big thing. Thanks to x3chainz for submitting. That seemed to be a pretty good overview of everything, and that was the solve analysis.